If you've never heard this before, it's going to blow your mind. What does it mean that Jesus is the Lamb of God? In John 1:29, it says, "Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world." To understand this, we got to go back to the Old Testament. The Old Testament in many ways foreshadows Jesus. In Genesis 22, Abraham brings Isaac to the mountain to offer him as a sacrifice to God. Isaac, unaware that he is going to be the sacrifice, asks Abraham, "Where is this lamb for the burnt offering?" And Abraham replies, "God will provide for himself a lamb for a burnt offering." And God stops Abraham from sacrificing Isaac and instead gives them a ram. Which is interesting because he didn't give them a lamb here like Abraham said he would. That was to come later. Christ was the lamb. But then if we go to Exodus 12, where we see the first Passover, God says to take in the first month of the year a lamb without blemish and to kill it and to put its blood over the doorposts of their homes, so that when God passes through the land of Egypt in judgment, striking down all the firstborns in Egypt, God would see the blood of the lamb on the doorpost and pass over that home. Their firstborns would be saved from the wrath of God. Here we see people covered and saved from judgment by the blood of a perfect lamb. This is a foreshadow of Jesus shedding his blood for us to save us from the wrath of God. And finally, in Isaiah 53, we see the one who in verse 5 was pierced for our transgressions, and the one by whose wounds we are healed. He's compared to a lamb who was led to the slaughter in verse 7. You see, the lamb in the Old Testament is a foreshadow, a symbolism of Christ, which is why we call him the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world.